Hi guys, sorry. Welcome back to the 69th episode of the Yarn Junkie podcast. My name is Amber. I'm coming to you from my home in Texas where I live with my husband, our 3 daughters, that is still so insane to say, and 3 dogs. It is Thursday, May 10th. I never say what day it is, so there you go if you are curious. I really wanted to record last week to kind of keep it at a 2-week interval between episodes, but I had no voice last week. Like, I got a sinus infection. It could have been a cold, but I really think it was sinuses. I had a bad headache and, my face hurt really bad. I was just coughing a lot and my throat was really dry, and my kids were making fun of me because my voice was gone the entire week, and they were like, is your voice ever going to come back? And, trying to yell at the dogs to come in because we have about 2 acres here, almost 2 acres, not quite. And, hollering at the dogs, it was just like croaky. I sounded awful. And my baby, my 4-month-old, would just look at me kind of strange when I would talk to her because my voice was different. So I'm coming to you, like I said, from Texas. It's early in the morning on a Thursday, and I have quite a bit to show you, so I'm just going to get right into the knitting. If you do hear noise or rattle making noise or baby coos, my 4-month-old is right there, and she is awake. She was just fed, so she's pretty happy. I'll probably have to pick her up here in a little bit because she doesn't like not being held for very long. So I mentioned on my last podcast, I just showed socks that I'd been working on. And since I finished my April shorty socks, I haven't touched socks really. I have kind of lost my sock mojo, to be honest. I have a lot of socks needing second socks, and I have no desire to knit socks. I have been working on quite a few sweaters and cardigans. And so this one I cast on, I want to say Ruby was probably 2 months old, 3 months old. No, I cast it on in January, so she was probably about a month. And this is the Madewell pattern by Joji Locatelli, and I didn't have 3 skeins. For the size I was knitting, I only needed 3 skeins of sock weight yarn, but I didn't have 3 of the same color, so I decided to do a Fadewell. And so it goes from this hedgehog colorway that is Oracle, I believe. It's got some gray tones and some kind of undyed and some pops of yellow and pops of neon pinks in there as well. So that is the first color. And then I faded in this tonal gray color. And this is an Etsy seller. I'm not sure of the name. I lost the ball band a while back, and it is like a silk wool blend. I'm not even sure of the content, honestly. I have no idea about this yarn. That's like pathetic. I know that it's sock weight, and I know that it's gray. So I faded in the gray and knit for a bit, and then I faded in this kind of charcoal tonal down here that is Knit Picks. And I believe this was like the Thunder Cloud or Thunderbird colorway. I think it's the Stroll tonal. Don't quote me on that. I also lost the ball band to this because babies, man. I can't be keeping up with ball bands. But I knit on this quite a lot while I was taking care of the baby, and for the first couple of months of her life, sorry, this is going to be peppered in throughout, so if you don't want to hear baby talk, then sorry. It was just really stressful, and I didn't really want to watch a lot of podcasts because it just makes me want to buy things. You know that struggle. And so I just really kind of stopped watching podcasts altogether, stopped recording, and binge watched series like crazy on Netflix and knit. So while I was knitting on this, I was watching Dexter. I'd watched that series before, but I did a reviewing, and so I used this red as sleeve holders. That's just totally random, but I just thought that was kind of a fun memory to add in there. So I've completely knit the body. I have picked up for the sleeve here with just some needles. My signature needles, that's what I knit this on. I have a pair of straights for my Cozy Memories blanket, a pair of DPNs that a friend of mine bought me, very nice friend, and then these size 4 because I use size 4 a lot on sweaters. And that is, my needle minder is actually from Rockabella Crafts. I don't know if she's watching, but hi Gemma. She actually had her daughter the day after I had mine, and we both named our daughters Ruby. So that was kind of interesting. She lives in the UK, and I've been following her for a while through the social medias, and she's a really, really nice lady. And I was knitting on this and thinking of her because we have babies the same age. And all of that is living in my, I believe that's Jenna Rose bag, an Etsy seller. I think she screen prints her own fabrics. And then this one is just really kind of speaking to my mood during that time. I didn't really have postpartum depression or baby blues, but it was just really frustrating and kind of a drag that I was having so many issues with Ruby gaining weight, and it was just a struggle for the first couple of months. So I put them all in my rain cloud bag because the sun will come out tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not a singer. So that's that project. I also watched The Gilmore Girls, the entire series, and then A Year in the Life. I remember watching The Gilmore Girls when I was like in high school, but I don't think I ever finished this series when it was on television. I don't really like it that much. Not as much as everybody like makes this such a big deal, like knitter community in general loves The Gilmore Girls, and I've watched better series. I do like the mom and daughter dynamic. I like them personally as actresses, but I don't know, the storyline kind of got predictable after a while. I do like the ending. I won't do any spoilers. And then A Year in the Life was just kind of weird, in my opinion. I was like, and it ended like on a cliffhanger, and you're left there frustrated. So I cast this on while watching that. So of course I had to put my cheeseburger progress keeper from Sucra Miniatures. And this is the Timber Cardigan by, I can't think of her name. You know her name. It is the Timber Cardigan. This is actually the second time I've started this project, and I got about here and then thought it looked too small, so I knit a sleeve, and it ended up fitting a trella, which was not my intention. So I ripped it out and restarted it because gauge swatching is not a thing that I do. I would rather not gauge swatch and knit an entire sweater or half a sweater and realize it's too small and rip back. So the yarn that I'm using is Brooklyn Tweed in Shelter, which is their worsted weight base. And I love Brooklyn Tweed. It is a little bit more rustic and toothy than your typical merino. It's a Targhee wool. I think I'm saying that right. And I really love it. It softens up considerably after washing. I did knit a shawl in Shelter as well. And that is seriously my most worn handmade item to date. But after knitting this, I decided I would rather have it oversized because I'm knitting one size up from my bust measurements, my pre-pregnancy bust measurements, because that's what I will be eventually. And I decided I would really rather, most of my cardigans that I have are like a large instead of a small medium, which is what size I am. So I definitely decided to do it in a different yarn than this. I have a sweaters quantity that I've had in the stash for quite a while, and I think it would look great in this cardigan. And so I'm frogging this, but I wanted to show you guys how much I worked on it before I frogged it, because that's a lot of knitting. That's a lot of knitting. That's almost 3 skeins, I believe. I kind of spit spliced it, so I don't really know. I want to say I'm on my 3rd skein of yarn for this. It might be my 4th though, don't quote me on that. But so yeah, that is getting the frog. I do like how you're knitting the ribbing as you go. So once you get done with the sleeves, it's done. And I really love this collar too. I think it's such a fun cardigan. But like I said, I would rather it be oversized. So that's getting the axe. What I started working on instead of that cardigan, and this is in my tree print bag from Lara of the Fawn and the Fox, and she's about to have a baby. I'm so excited. I mentioned that on my last podcast, but I love babies. So I am knitting the Weekender by Andrea Mallory. And I wasn't originally going to knit this. I don't like really boxy type garments. I kind of like more fitted garments. But after seeing Leslie from the Naughty Knitwits and Michelle from My So-Called Handmade Life, which is a new podcast to me, and I love her. She's actually a fellow Texan, but she lives like near Houston. If you don't know, Texas is huge, huge, huge. She's like hours and hours away. But I saw, she's talking, I'm sorry. So I saw theirs, and I love the neckline. And it's not so boxy, like the boxy from Hohi. It's not that oversized. But I feel like it would be a really great kind of sweater to have in the sweater chest. But so this is what I have done so far. This is knit itself. I cast this on the Sunday before last, and I was pretty monogamous with it last week, and then, you know, I kind of got bored, so I started something else like you do. But this is how far I've gotten. So I have the entire front of the body knit, and you're knitting this inside out and then flipping it around, and it's a little wrinkled because it's been in my project bag. And then I'm knitting the back, and I'm almost to the point where you start in with the, there's a little bit of short row shaping, and then you do the ribbing, and then you connect the shoulders together. And then you knit the sleeves. And so this is, I mean, this is a lot of knitting, but at the same time, it's not. I did not do the tubular cast on. I tried it. I don't think that I did what it says in the pattern. I think that I just looked up a tubular cast on, and it was using scrap yarn, and it was just so sloppy. But I always do the old Norwegian cast on, and I like the way it looks. So, and it blocks out really nice, and it's super stretchy. I did do the cast off, bind off that it says in the pattern, and I really like that. So that's all I have to say about that so far. I did knit it a little bit longer. So it is kind of a cropped sweater. And instead of doing the 15 inches, I think I did like 17, because I'm quite a bit taller than average humans. I am 5'10", so yeah, I'm not a shorty. I think Andrea Mallory is pretty petite, if I'm not mistaken on that. And so that's the shelter from the timber is being repurposed and put into this cardigan. And my ball band broke. I mean, not my ball band, my ball winder. And so I wound this by hand. I don't have a neospine, however you say that. So I used a fat Crayola marker and hand wound this, while Prudence, my 7-year-old, sat in front of me with her hands like this, and she was like, "Can I be done yet?" And it's only 140 yards, but it was still kind of not fun to do. So that is that sweater. I am loving this. I can't wait to get it done. Not that I'll be able to wear it. It is May in Texas. We have already had some 90-degree days. I will not be surprised if it's 100 soon. But, you know, it can go in the box until winter. I'm going to take a sip. She might need me to pick her up. It's so funny because she watches me take drinks and eat, and she'll like open her mouth and close her mouth and take bites. She is not ready solids yet, but it's just a lot of fun to watch her do that. It's kind of funny. So another sweater, yes, you heard that right, that I've been working on. Everyone is knitting all of the Caitlin Hunter things, and I am obsessed. So I originally really wanted to knit the Sunset Highway, and then this wide came out, and I really wanted to knit that too. And I was going to DFW a couple of months ago, like I mentioned, or last month, I guess it was. And I really wanted to get yarn for all these sweaters. But I went stash diving first to see what I had on hand. And then I actually had this wag. You know what this wag looks like. But I was really intimidated by this. I am not a lace knitter, and it has a lace yoke with a little bit of color work. And so I was kind of over stockinette stitch. I'm really bored right now, and I don't get a lot of stimulation during the day staying home with a little baby, and so I really needed something to kind of stimulate my brain. And I thought, I've got to do this. I'm not a lace knitter, but I think I can do it, and I really appreciate how Caitlin has it charted and written out, because I can follow like a color work chart really easily because, you know, it's shaded and you just glance at it and know what to do. And I know a lot of people can do that with cables and lace as well. I'm not one of those people. I really appreciate my cables and lace patterns being written out line by line. And what I did, so I can't really show you guys this because it's the pattern, but what I did, I guess I can do like this, is a lot of people use that highlighter tape, and I've tried doing that on several other patterns, and I just find it wasteful and fiddly because you're having to take it out and move it down, and then it rips, and then you have to get another piece. And so I have some highlighter tape, but I don't really like using it. And so what I did instead was, like, say I'm on this round 3, I would fold my paper in such a way where I can only see that. And then, you know, fold it again. I can only see round 7. And fold it again. I can only see round 9. And so forth. So my pattern is like so crinkly. But I did it, you guys. I did it. And I just finished the lace yesterday because I put it down for a while. And I'm on to the bottom of the color work now. But oh my gosh, and I stashed dough for this, so it makes me extra proud that I'm using stash yarn and knitting a sweater and challenging myself and doing lace. Look at that. It's showing up really well. That's pretty true to color. This top purple here is lamb strings yarn. Lamb strings yarn in Tralala Sock. Corazon, I don't know how to say that. It's got a little thing. I wish I was better with other languages, but I'm lame and only know English. But one thing I will say, she has you do wrap and turns to create short rows along the back. And I didn't purr the pattern, but I wish I would have just done the short rows that I know how to do, which is the German short rows, I think. The ones that are in the Fish Lips Castile pattern. I'm super good with those. But anytime I do wrap and turn, I end up with little holes. So there's like little holes here, which is kind of a bummer. And I got to here and I really considered ripping back and just doing the ones I wanted, but I was really eager to get onto the colorwork section. So I was just like, that's the back. Who cares? I don't care. And I think this is going to be really great for our climate. It is a fingering weight sweater, and it's, you know, lacy, and then the bottom of it has like cables, but I don't really think they're true cables. They're like little eyelet cables. They look really cool. I thought about not doing that and just doing stockinette on the bottom and the sleeves like I've seen other people do, but I think that, you know, if you put in this much effort into the yoke, you've got to do the body with those little X's. I think that's just... it's a stunner. I really, really love this sweater, and I'm obsessed with it right now. So my worsted weight weekender has gone on the back burner while I obsess over this. And she has this like little cable in the lace that crosses. Oh, I'm obsessed. My lace looks I only messed up, I think, twice during the entire thing. And I just like added a yarn over or like created a knit front and back, even though that's not what it said to do because I was like lacking a stitch or something. And so the green yarn that I have in here is this, it's Hue Loco, and she did a copper penny kit for the So Faded pattern. And she gifted it to me because she was inspired by my penny floor that is no more. Don't even get me started on that. But I had it in this pristine packaging that she sent it in, all 5 skeins, I think. And I didn't want to break into it, and I didn't really want to do a faded with it. And then I decided I don't have to. Like, I can use all these skeins individually in projects if I want. I don't have to keep them together and knit something with them together. And so that's what I did. I took this one out because I thought it went really well with this purple up here. It's got a lot of the teals and the browns in this purple colorway. And so I'm really obsessed. And again, I hand wound these. And oh my God, if you are a hand winder, I don't know how you do it. I have so much respect for you because this killed me. I know a lot of people say I really enjoy getting to know the yarn, and I kind of did, but by like, these are 400 yards each, and so by the time I was 200 yards in, I was over it. I was like, okay, this sucks. Oh, I need my winder. And I haven't really purchased another one yet because Tim says he thinks he can fix mine. We'll see. He's super busy with work lately. He's actually expanding his company into the Metroplex. And so he just hasn't had time to help me figure out what's wrong with it, which is a bummer. I'm going to take another sip, and I've got one more sweater to show you because I'm obsessed with casting things on. In my Mrs. Brown's bags, let me tell you, this one is living in the kitchen clutter bag. I think that's what I have her tag in here because I'm so great at remembering everything. Kitchen clutter. I've talked about this on one of my previous podcasts. Handmade kitchen clutter. And it's got this buffalo plaid on the inside, and this is a waxed canvas. And it's perfect for a small sweater or a shawl. I have all 3 of my balls in there, and then, you know, the start of my sweater. And I think it will fit in this bag the entire time. And I really love this bag. I do wish the handle was a bit more like a fringe bag because it's just kind of, you can't put your wrist through there. It's just like you hold it with your hand. But I understand because she didn't really want to like knock off fringe bags. But not that fringe bags aren't worth it because I would buy another in a heartbeat. I really want the tartan bag, but I was too late to jump on that bandwagon when they first came out with them, and now they don't have them anymore. So in this beautiful Mrs. Brown's bag, this was like one of my first Mrs. Brown's bag, and it's like this red barn. I love it. She doesn't really do like fun fabrics. She does fun fabrics, but like different fabrics anymore. She's mostly known for her knit stitch bags, which are amazing, but I really love this one. So in here, again, 2 more of those skeins from the Hue Loco Copper Penny Kit were these 2. And I love these. This one's a true, like, kind of mustardy. And I caked these up at my local yarn shop, West 7th Wool. Because I just had too many to cake, and there was no way I was going to do it by hand. But this is from the Copper Penny kit, as well as that other green. And then there's 2 more skeins that are kind of like, but I just thought these would be great in the Sunset Highway. And I don't have the pattern printed out. I was just using my phone, but you know what the Sunset Highway is. Everyone has knit it. Everyone is a Caitlin Hunter groupie, including me. I am obsessed with her. And so I'm not very far along on this. I've just got a little bit of the neck done, and I'm into the color work now. And this one uses short rows too. And I did do the short rows that I know, like from the German short rows. And there are no holes. Like I can't even find where I've done short rows. I just know this is the back and that's where they are. So it's completely different. And I am doing the size extra small on this wag, but I'm doing a small on the Sunset Highway. And the reason I'm doing this extra small on this wag is I didn't want that much positive ease on that particular sweater. And also I only have 2 skeins of the main colorway and you need 3 to do the small. So I thought, well, I'll do the extra small. I am typically an extra small when I'm not my pre-pregnant or like post-pregnancy weight. And I usually hold on to about 40 pounds until I wean, so, or until the baby weans. But the other colorways that I have, I actually need your opinions. So this is all I have going, but then there's like that bottom little ripple thing. And so I have this that I caked up, which is a Fiber for the People yarn, and I actually got this in an Instagram giveaway. But after looking at the pattern and like the sleeves are color work too, and I think you use these two together, which are way too similar, or maybe it's these two, I can't remember. But I thought about doing this Woolberry Fiber Co. yarn instead. So you tell me which yarn you would use for that like little zigzag thing and then the sleeves. The pink, let's see. The pink kind of, yeah, I really like all those. And this is kind of out of my typical color palette because I'm not a pastels or cool toned type of knitter. I'm more of a jewel toned. And these are kind of jewel toned, I guess, but like more muted jewel tones. I really think I'm going to do this one. I'll have to hand wind it though. The struggle, you guys. And so for the body, I got these from, I'm not sure if I showed you guys my acquisitions on my last episode from DFW Fiberfest, but I got these 2 skeins of Suburban Stitcher. And I don't know if you can see like the variations of, there's like, it's brown, but there's yellows in there, which is going to go so well with this. Let me see. And then there's browns in this too. So like, I feel like it pulls it all together. There's like little specks of browns all throughout the blue. I love this. I think I did because I told you guys the story. I re-recorded last episode like 2 or 3 times. So if I didn't talk about it, I originally, when she posted this on her Instagram, it's called Jon Snow, and in my mind I read John Wick and I was like, yes, John Wick, I love John Wick. I have never actually seen any of the Game of Thrones, the entire series. I've never seen any of it. Jon Snow apparently is a character from Game of Thrones, and it's not John Wick, it's Jon Snow, which I don't know why my mind read that because it did. But to me, this will always be John Wick, not Jon Snow. Kind of looks like John Wick to me too. So that is that project. You let me know in the comments below if you think I should use that second yellow or the pink in the little zigzag. Which one? Those are showing up really well. My lighting is really good in here. So that is what I have been working on. Now I do have kind of 2 more languishing sweaters that I need to knit sleeves for. So I thought, actually I have acquisitions. So instead of showing you guys those, I'll just show you my acquisitions. Talking about being obsessed with Caitlin Hunter, a lot of people have knit this Kobook hat, and she recently had like a discount code for her patterns, and I bought the Sunset Highway, the mini Sunset Highway, the Zwag, and then I think if you buy 3 or 4 patterns, you get one free or something. So I carded the Kobook and got it for free. And I'm obsessed with this hat. I've seen so many different people knit it, and I really wanted to knit something with mohair. And so I had to go and buy this from my local yarn store. This is a Madeline Tosh yarn, It's Madeleine Tosh DK weight, and the colorway is Ira. I don't know how you would say that. But it is beautiful gray tonals with like some pops of, there's some purples like deep in there. There's like little purples and then the flecks of green. And so I got this crazy bright, this is a Shibui Knits Silk Cloud. It is 60% kid mohair, 40% silk, kid mohair and silk, and the colorway is apple. So I had some friends at knit night. I had a gray mohair too, and they were like, no, you've got to do the green. And then I so happened to have this in my stash, and I thought, what a fun pom-pom. With the leftovers of my mohair, I might make a pom-pom with this. Or I might buy one of the, you know, for pom-poms. I'm not sure yet, but I thought that would be a lot of fun. So I probably won't cast this on for a while, but I really wanted to get the yarn just in case I needed a quick project, because hats are relatively quick. But I'm obsessed with sweater knitting right now, so I have not done any socks. I've just been working on sweaters. But that is all I have time to show you guys today. She has actually been really quiet and quite good, but I think she's gonna be done soon. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed seeing what I've been working on, and I'll talk to you next time.